Hi, Rhonda. I figured at some point somebody would invite me into the conversation. Hey, Tracy. Hi, Janine. How's everybody doing? It sounds like everybody's cold. It's cold here, too. Yeah, that's cold. We're gonna get into the 20s. We got the potential for some snow on Tuesday, so I'm kind of hoping there. Tuesday is gonna be a great day because I'm off of work on Tuesday, so it'll be a perfect day to sit around and stay warm. I've been in Minnesota when it's, I think the most I was ever in was 30 below, and that was in northern Minnesota. My uncle had a cabin up there. Actually, still does. Yeah, I decided to wear a vintage T-shirt today. Even got the Joster. Yeah, we're in sort of a patriotic mood here too. Moving the mushroom thing here though. That doesn't need to be in the way. Wrong way. That way. There we go. That's better. Yeah, he's a pretty cool dog. I've never been a fan of little dogs, but Jaw's a good one. Good ambassador for little dogs. Yeah, I'll probably get a dog at some point, but it's not fair to have a dog right now and be going to work and being gone for 14, 15 hours a day, 3 or 4 days a week. So maybe when I retire, it's funny I can talk about that now. And that doesn't seem like 1,000 years from now. That's scary. You're old when that happens. Yeah, see, that's a dog, Rhonda. A dog isn't something you can put in your purse. Carry around like an accessory. Okay. Does he carry around it in his purse? Yeah, rest in peace, David Lynch. That was a surprising one. I found out about it when I read Jordan's post on Facebook about the time he met David Lynch. Okay, is that how that works? Okay. Yeah, I'd forgotten he'd like done Dune too. But I always liked, Eraserhead and Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks, Wild at Heart. Well, we got a long ways to go, but we're making progress. I dug out that you remember in the video I talked about digging out, hitting that pipe with the rototiller and figuring, oh, there's something that was going under there. I don't know what that is at this point. I'm wondering if it's the sprinklers have run a couple times and it doesn't seem to be making anything not work. I'm going to take a closer look at it this week, but it also appears that when I was digging under there, that there's an anti-siphon valve that was under there. So I don't know what exactly is going on there. I got to dig that out and trace that all out and figure out what that is. Yeah, they're all pretty strange movies. So I mean, if you're not really into bizarre movies, uh, Blue Velvet is a story about a young kid who discovers a bizarre kidnapping hostage uh, situation in his town and begins investigating it and uncovers how dark and deep this thing goes. Twin Peaks was a great TV show. That was very, very popular. Probably the most popular thing he ever did. It spawned a movie. Even the movie is pretty good too. Well, I think I mentioned in the video, it's going to be a lot of work to move all that dirt around and get all those bricks in place. But if I do it a little bit at a time, you know, it'll go pretty quick. And I mean, I don't have to do it right now. There's no deadline on when it has to be done. It'd be nice if I could plan it this spring, but if that doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. We'll get to it when we get to it. But it's fun to have a project to work on. And I'm really excited to see how it's gonna turn out because I think it's gonna be pretty cool. It's a project I would have loved to work on with my dad. He would have gotten a kick out of it. Everything I did in the house in California, he was a part of. Wow, that silenced everybody. Hey Darth, how you doing? Well, my mom often said that to me too, Gene. That after my dad passed, she said, "Oh yeah, he would have come to Texas a bunch of times to help me work on stuff on the house. He would have loved to have been a part of that." I don't know, even if his health was okay, I don't know that if I'd really want him doing that hard of work. He was getting to be an old man at that point, but I know he would help in every way he could. I'm not doing too bad. Trying to keep warm. That's what's going on right now. That seems to be the theme right now for basically everywhere but California. They don't seem to have a problem staying warm in California. Well, it's funny. I always called him the supervisor because that was sort of a joke that we had. When it came in, hey, I'm working on this project. I could really use a supervisor. So, and of course, shortly after he passed away, you remember I put that little plaque on the workbench that he built for me and referred to him as the supervisor. Wasn't really that way on the projects I was doing because usually, they were at my house, and so my dad would come over, but my mom wouldn't. So no drinks from mom. We had to provide our own drinks, but we did all right. It was 22 here this morning. Got some maybe snow coming in next week or this in a couple of days, like Tuesday. I think there's Sunday, Monday night, Tuesday morning. I think they said. So that'll be kind of fun. I don't have to work on Tuesday, so it'll be real nice to just kind of sit in the house and stay warm. Yeah, yeah, I know. I guess we're lucky that we don't get into the negatives. I think these 20s that we're getting in here, I think this is the coldest I ever remember it. But you got to remember my experience with Texas weather only goes back a couple years. Yeah, it's interesting how inauguration and MLK Day are the same day. I guess that's what happens when you're born on inauguration day. Well, not necessarily inauguration day, but January 20th. Yeah, here we go. Very interested to see how things are going to go over the next few months now. Figure out exactly what it is new president's going to do, and he's got some bold ideas. I'll tell you that. Yeah, I got to take credit for everything that's about to happen. Well, if you feel like you got to vote for her, then go for it, Darth. I just find it funny that she went from the least popular person while she was vice president, and being completely written off and deemed incompetent and all that by everyone around her, to all of a sudden she was God's gift to Earth when Joe decided he got pushed out basically, and we weren't supposed to notice that. I mean, you got to think that that's part of the reason they lost. That they even, the party that's always whining about the other side gonna take away our democracy, literally just negated the votes of tens of millions of voters. mean, I'll tell you, if that happened to me, and if the Republicans did that, that'd be the end. But I don't know. I'm on my short weekend now, so my boss always. I've talked to my boss a bunch of times about some of my experiences at Disney, and I at one point I admitted to him that I only got one day off a week when I worked at Disney generally, and I was happy to get it. And now I'm going into my short weekend, and I'm thinking, oh man, this is just a short weekend. My boss always jokes with me at the end of the day on going into the short weekend. It's like, well, at least you get 2 more days off than you used to get. No, it's short week, short weekend, long week, long weekend. So I go back to work on Wednesday now. No, the work's pretty consistent, but it's going good. I think the company's doing well. They're happy with the work we're doing. It's not like we're sending people home because we don't have anything to do. Well, that's right. We lost Bob Euchre too. I forgot about that. Oh, all we've been doing is talking about David Lynch. So they always seem to come in threes. Who's going to be the third? Any guesses? I bet I know who she's thinking. No, no rocks recently. The rock place is closed right now while they move. I saw something today that said that they're hoping to still be opening the new shop at the end of February or beginning of March. So looking forward to that. I guess I'm just going to have to take all that money I'd normally spend on rocks and save it. How boring is that, huh? Well, I've often thought about, how it would be great for them to have like an internet site because I bet, and I just don't know, how much they're into or interested in such a thing. Yeah, except if you bore the rocks, they break up into little pieces and they're not pretty anymore. I got a number of red rocks. That's true. Well, I mean, but you know that if you're the customer, that hey, you're shipping a rock. This is gonna cost something. That's just part of the part of dealing. I just don't know if it's a big enough organization that they could deal with the processing if it actually took off. But you know what? At that point, they just have to expand. They'd have to hire people. But I'm not going to tell her how to do her job. It's her company. She gets to do it the way she wants to, and not necessarily. Not all the rocks wouldn't all be, you know, uh, massive shipping. Yes, some of the things I got are the size of bowling balls and they weigh 30, 40 pounds. But, a lot of things they do is just little crystals and stuff like that, kinds of things you could put in your pocket. And, that wouldn't be the hard. Like I said, it's just a matter of whether they would have the infrastructure to be able to deal with that. But I think she kind of likes having the shop. It's kind of interesting though, because the shop, the business that used to be in the shop before them was so like a crystal shop. They sold crystals and stuff like that, and it seems like that seems kind of weird to me. There used to be a crystal shop in there. It's not there now, and you're gonna put another crystal shop in there. But I think she was doing decent business in the place, and it's not really that far much further away. I think she just expects the customers will continue to follow her, so she'll probably do all right. It was a funky shop though on Austin. It was kind of a cool place to have a shop. That's the part I'm going to miss. Is it always gave me an excuse to drive down Austin Avenue in Waco because there's all those beautiful old houses down there, including like the Cottonland Castle and Darwin the Gorilla. That's all right there on Austin. And see, that's what I do. I'd get onto Austin and as quick as I could, and just take Austin all the way down. Yeah, well, I mean, I took you down around Austin. A lot of the houses that we looked at when I looked at those Christmas lights on Castle Heights, about half of those were on Austin. And like I said, in the area called Castle Heights, which is a couple blocks what was it, west of Austin. And of course, I've been there before, so I knew there was going to be some nice lights in there. Oh, and the tree stump, yeah, that's a incense burner that I got one at one point. Kind of a funky little thing, but you put the long stick incense in it, and then it's got all these little holes here, and the smoke comes out of there and comes out of the top. Let's see, yeah, well, yeah, we'll leave it there. Just didn't want it covering up the flag. That's not cool. Uh, Logan got in trouble. What did she do this time? Oh wow. Okay, that's not good. That's not good, Logan. Can't throw glasses. That's not cool. It's a tragedy what's going on in Los Angeles. I mean, what do you say? You know, the problem is, this is largely preventable. Yes, of course, we have fires in Los Angeles. That happens all the time. It happens every year. But this one turned into what it is because of poor forest management. They weren't clearing out the brush. They weren't doing controlled burns. They weren't doing anything to mitigate this. And it turned out the reservoir was dry. This is incompetence. And so many lives are destroyed. And not only that, think of all the wildlife that was destroyed. I mean, nobody keeps track of that. Well, that mayor in Los Angeles is just as bad. But I mean, like I said, this has been going on for a long time. It's why I left California. In this case, they literally were. Yeah, yeah, right. And yeah, she was in Ghana, and then the press was asking her, "Why aren't you back in California?" And she was given, she couldn't, she didn't care. It's funny hearing all these lefty Hollywood celebrities who are suddenly just so angry at the Democrats for allowing this to happen. This is the reason they support the Democrats, but they never have to face the consequences of the decisions of the votes they make. And so now, for the first time, they're having to face the consequences of their vote. Yeah, right. Two minds without a single thought. When your city's on fire, there are no vacations. Oh, I know. I worry about that they're moving here. Fortunately, the ones that are moving here aren't really moving to Waco. They're moving to Dallas or Austin or something like that. She should be honoring her people, her constituents, the people who she was elected to represent. Yeah, 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 she was there already when the fires happened, but they knew the wind was coming. They knew that there was a huge possibility for this. They knew they hadn't prepared for it. They should have probably canceled it. At the very least, she should have flown back to California the second it happened. I don't know. We're gonna have to see. We'll have to see if they get recalled. There's an attempt to recall Newsom a year ago or a year or two ago, and that failed. And that was I think that was right after he was caught violating the COVID restrictions on eating out in restaurants. He was throwing people in jail for doing that, and they caught him doing it. I've never really had much of a feeling, positive or negative, for any of the royals in the UK, but Harry has made me hate a royal, and I can't stand Meghan. Hey, Lindex. Well, I mean, sort of they are. He is. Well, they may have disowned him, but biologically, he's related to the king, so there is something there. Yeah, that's it. You don't do that to your family. I'm sorry. I agree, Lindex. That's wrong. Well, you knew that was going to happen. Now, of course, then he's going to try and crawl back to his home if that happens. Guaranteed. We'll see what happens, though. Charles doesn't seem to be happy. Oh, the cats are holding their own. Nibble's still in her frail shape. Actually, he's getting up and walking around a lot, which is kind of weird. She's been staying in bed. Maybe she feel a little better. Flash has been in the garage for the last week because um, it's really cold out, and I don't want her out in the cold. So she's in the storm shelter in the garage. Well, she's 19 years old, so that's old for a kitty. I don't know because they have one dish, so I don't know, but the same amount of food seems to be going away. So bites the same old self. He was out here at the beginning. He usually gets bored of the attention after 10 minutes or so and goes back to his room. No, I don't think there were any treats today. Bite wasn't here long enough. I don't know. Maybe we can coax him back out with a treat jar. At very least, that coaxed out all your pets. I uncovered him for a couple of days, but I covered him again last night. It's cold out there. I mean, because it's not just the temperature. There's the wind chill is something incredible. Yeah, I'm interested to see how it's going to work. Like I said, I think that's going to be a lot better than crawling up on those ladders. I don't like doing that. Somebody suggested in the comment section I should rent a lift, and it's like, yeah, I've thought about that, but those are expensive. Yeah, we're gonna maybe get some snow this week. I hope so. It's because if it happens, it can happen on Monday night, Tuesday morning, and if it happens Monday night or Tuesday morning, that'll be a day off for me, so I can enjoy that. I hope we get some. I'm going to go to the grocery store today, though, because last time we got any snow, I couldn't get milk for like a week and a half. So I want to stock up on milk. Anything else I might need. I got a lot of firewood, so we're good there. Oh man, yeah, I don't think I'd want to be outside messing around with a well when it's 14 degrees. The wind chill just cut right through you too. There isn't enough clothing that you can wear to protect you from that. I mean, yes, there's technically, but you know, you're dressed up to the point you can't even move if you do that. Yeah, well, and actually, I did learn how to stay warm. I used to when I worked at Disneyland, I used to work a show called Fantasmic, and that was a night show. It was a water show, and in the winter it was cold, and I got to the point where I could stay pretty warm. You just got to do layers, and each layer's got to tuck into the layer on top of it. Yeah, but it's always there, Darth. I do have jackets that I can do really well. You've done Siberian training, huh? Wow, you're just an individual of multiple talents, aren't you, Darth? Yeah, as a matter of fact, one of the warmest jackets I have, Rhonda, is a jacket that I was given when I worked on Fantasmic at Disneyland. It's really thick and it's really warm. Just stay inside. That's probably good advice. Yeah, I would bet that would be classified, Darth. You probably shouldn't have said what you did. Said too much already. So Charlotte is sort of like Jaw. Jaw won't go outside when it's rainy or snowy either. Doesn't matter how much he has to go to the bathroom. He'll just sit up and look at you and like he's saying, "What? You don't really expect me to go out there, do you?" So am I, but I'm also that guy you'll see walking through the parking lot at HEB when it's 20 degrees out, wearing short sleeve shirt like this and short pants. Yeah, see, that's one thing I won't do is bare feet in the snow. No way. That is crazy. Brings about an interesting thought, though. Since they're adopted, isn't that doesn't that sort of mean that it isn't genetic that it transferred from you to them? Maybe insanity is just contagious. It's an interesting thought. We need to explore this. I don't know. You seem kind of crazy too. Yeah, it's the crazy ones that always think they're normal. I know I'm abnormal. Well, keep taking them, Rhonda. Wind just gusted up there a second. Get the funny little gusts from wind. Yeah, Abby normal, exactly. From now on, that's what we're going to call you, Rhonda. Abby. That's true. Normal is kind of boring. And as we learned earlier, boring leads to rocks, right? Normal baits, huh? As long as it's not a master, I guess we're okay. Because boring is what you do when you're drilling for rocks. Yeah, I've had trees that do that too. I actually try and cut those trees back so they don't do that anymore because sometimes they can damage the roof, depending on how big the branches are. They can rip tiles off, stuff like that. I got to get out and cut one of the pecan trees getting really close to the fireplace, to the chimney on the fireplace. So I got to get out there and dig that out or cut that out. You have a howling dog right now. All right, that sounds like fun. I wish we could hear some of this stuff. If it's hanging over, and well, I don't know how it is in Canada, but in the U.S., if the tree is hanging over your yard, you can cut it. Yeah, between the kids and the menagerie, I don't doubt that the sounds at your house can be crazy sometimes. Got to be very chaotic there sometimes. That's why I like to shake the kitty treat thing here to add to the chaos. I've never had to do that. I've heard of people having to do that where tree roots get into like sewer lines and stuff like that. But I've never had to deal with that. Now, fortunately, no cats in Waco except my own heard that. It's all your cats that heard that. So that was you. That was for you. Because that's just exactly what you need, Rhonda, is another cat. And sister of the toxic twins, huh? So what it would be then if you bring that one in? Is it going to be toxic triplets then? Because that doesn't roll off the tongue as well. I'm just saying. Hey, Mark, how are you doing? Good when all the gang shows up here. Need to see Black Dot yet, though. And of course, Jeff hasn't made an appearance yet, but he's probably just getting out of church. Hey, buddy, you gonna come up and visit? Or are you just gonna get the sneezes right now, don't you? Come on, buddy. They're waiting to see you. Here he comes. He's thinking about it. He's seriously thinking about it. Yep, I knew he'd. I knew he'd make it eventually. Yeah, it's my buddy. Never really thought of putting a mirror in the kitty room so they could watch themselves. Not really sure they'd be interested. Remember when I did Squirrel TV for them? And yeah, there was never any interest in that. Oh, there we go. Jeff's here now. We were just talking about Jeff. Got to get it over here close enough so I can see. Well, I think these guys are just, maybe beyond the playing phase. Although we got one of those little plastic tracks with a ball in the middle. The cats can bat around. Every once in a while, I hear this guy playing with it. Pretty much the same as any live stream, Mark. Whatever you want to talk about. I don't come in here and saying, "Hey, we're going to talk about this today." I may have something that I'll be prepared to talk about if somebody asks about it. But like for instance, when I get rocks or something like that, I know somebody will ask at some point, and I'll have them here ready to go. Yeah, it already is cold here. We're expecting the possibility of snow tomorrow night and maybe Tuesday morning. Nice day to be off of work, right? Can't even hold it in your mouth. What a klutz are you? No, I mean I haven't really made any firm plans yet. I do. I know I keep procrastinating. It's going to be the same way as it was when I talked about going to visit my mom a few years ago. It's just going to be one of those days I'm going to finally say, okay, I procrastinated enough on this. Let's get going on it. And you guys just need to keep pestering me until I do. No, I've never made bear claws at home. There's a good recipe. I'd definitely try it. These guys were more into toys when they were younger. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. I super chat. Appreciate it a lot. Nope, haven't made any Yellowstone plans in the last 2 minutes. Just I plan to do it at some point. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really into the show. I That's what the sequel or whatever of that other show. I don't know. I never watched that one either. What's the weather doing down there, Jeff? Is it cold there, or are you being kept warm by the ocean? Well, I just found out a couple of days ago at work that we're going to be doing another shutdown in early March, and this one's going to take longer. They're going to close the place for like 3 weeks. So I don't know. I may go do something then. Remember last time we had a shutdown? I went and did that Dazed and Confused vlog and went down to Johnson Space Center. So maybe we'll do something. Get out and just drive. I don't know if Yellowstone would be the place to be in March. I'm thinking more of it'd be a spring or early summer kind of thing. No, I never watched Yellowstone. Italian food, that sounds good. Is it like a one-off place or is it like a chain or something? Yeah, I've heard 10 below in Minnesota. That's cold. I've been in Minnesota when it's that cold. It's about 30 here, and we're expecting the possibility of snow in a couple days. Do they? I didn't know. Yeah, I guess I really haven't dug around Paramount Plus much beyond just the things I'm looking for. I'm a Star Trek nerd, so I like being able to binge watch the Star Trek series, and they're all on there. There's a few movies too, but I don't know. For the most part, movies. If I'm interested in the movie, I'll usually buy a copy of it. Carabas? Never heard of that. I'm gonna maybe try and find a way to do it. I don't have TV, but I bet you I can find someplace online. It's going to be historic, though. Okay, same as Outback. Interesting. Okay. That's okay. You can watch the the swearing in, on video afterwards, after Canadian No TV Day. Get your invitation. Sweet. Let me guess. A guest of Brandon, right? Hello, Gene. Yeah, along with Greenland. But you're not going to become a state, Rhonda. He's joking. That's Donald Trump for you. I don't know. I don't know. I want to at least see the swearing in. But more important than the swearing in is what happens afterwards. Yeah, I heard him say something about it being indoors too because of the weather. I guess there's history of that. I guess Reagan did that once. I haven't been able to get Rhonda to comment on Justin. Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for coming in, and thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Have a good lunch. Italian food actually sounds really good. Got some pizza or some pasta sauce in the fridge, or maybe in the fridge. Maybe that's what I'll have for dinner. Oh yeah, Bite just went. He didn't go that far though. He's just over here sitting on the ground staring at the wall. That's another factor, I'm sure, Lindex. Yeah, I get it, Rhonda, but I don't know. I like politics. See you next week, Jeff. Thanks for stopping in. Enjoy your lunch. For the most part, everything's put away. I got to make another trip over to the locker today because the big balls that are hanging in the front yard, they're still in the garage, and a couple of all the Christmas lights are still in the garage. So they'll have to go over. Want to do that today or tomorrow? Yeah, I can just see someone at the end of the day or middle of the day tomorrow saying, "Okay, let's go, Brandon. Let's go." Well, they don't. Neither of them seem to be happy with each other. I don't think. I think Kamala is a little angry with Joe too. But I think Joe still thinks he would have won. Whatever. Exactly. Close the door on the way out. Well, it's just going to be the decorations for Christmas and I got the guy hanging that's been hanged from the tree, and so I can hang him up there. See, I've already worked on that a little bit because I already don't like the idea of going up that ladder, and so I've got kind of a hinge system. I can pull those things up, and so I've already kind of been working on that because that was the worst part was pulling up the Halloween decorations because they're relatively heavy. And so I pull them up there and I'm on the ladder trying to balance and all that, pull up, a 20 or 30 pound decoration. I got to the point I just brought a little hook or a little carabiner up there, hooked it on the loop. And then go climb up the ladder to do that. And then I could just pull the things up with my, just by pulling on the rope across the pulley. But this will eliminate that because now I can put that pulley mechanism up on the tree using the hook without having to climb up the ladder to do that. I don't think it's much of a mystery. She doesn't like him. It wouldn't surprise me if I don't think very many Democrats will show up. None of the squad will show up. Pelosi probably. I don't know. I don't think she'll be there. Maybe I don't know. She doesn't really have a voice in anything anymore. She's not the speaker anymore. Yeah, that was really corrupt too. Because he wasn't just pardoned of buying guns while and lying on a federal form about being on drugs or any of that stuff. It also for anything that may have happened, including like Burisma. And Burisma was the thing that could blow back to Joe. So that is totally corrupt. I haven't been to a movie theater in a long time. Definitely not since I've lived in Texas. Just not really been anything I wanted to see. And usually, if it is a movie I'm interested in, I'll wait for it to come out on video. It'll be out in 6 months, and I'll check it out then. Well, now it's going to be, how good can I be at hooking up onto that thing? Because that's going to take a little practice. I tried doing it a little bit, transferring that, because you saw I had that little loop, and that loop is what's going to be the thing I'm going to have to hook onto it. So I'm going to get a bunch of those loops, one for everything, and I'm going to see now about how easy I can do that. I think it'll be easier. I was trying to do just the hook itself, and I kept dislodging the loop from the hook, uh, rather than dislodging it from the pole. So I think if I'm holding on to the rope that's attached to the loop, that I'll be able to do that better. So I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see how that works. Well, there's a Dylan movie. I didn't even know that. See, I never saw Top Gun Maverick in the theater. I haven't even watched it on TV yet. It's on Paramount Plus. I'll watch it at some point, but I got to be in the mood for a Top Gun movie. Yeah, I never saw Frozen. I never saw the first one. I wasn't aware there was a second one. What is it? What it ends with us? It sounds like a movie that kind of goes in some weird directions. Should make a zip line. That'd be fun. Trump can't do term limits. Term limits would require a constitutional amendment. And you're right. The politicians don't want that. They like their career jobs. They don't want to go back and live in the mess that they've made. They'd rather just stay in Washington, become billionaires. But a convention of states could get us term limits, and we're getting close to that. What do you mean, Maverick? Is that the one I better watch? Because I mean, I think Paramount owns it. I don't see any reason why they take it off. I'm seeing like a piece of hair or something flashing in front of my eyes. Yeah, I hope they get going. They get going with these cabinet picks because he wants to he wants to and he needs to hit the ground running. Yeah, I know they'll push them out the same way they pushed what was it, Barbara Boxer out. Somebody just said to look over and oh, she's dead. Huh. Wonder when that happened. Wonder how long she's been laying there. We didn't even know. I would definitely support term limits. So get them in, get them out. If you got an idea, get in there. Don't get in. Don't leave them in there long enough that they can learn. How to game the system. And no entering lobbying agencies when they leave office either. You got to go back to the world that you lived in and live under the rules you created. I hope RFK does something about Fauci. Yeah, I mean, there's certain candidates I look at. I look at Marco Rubio too, and um, you know, but you know what? Mark Levin's been saying, and I kind of agree with him that you know what? Trump just won a massive landslide victory. He deserves to have the candidate he wants. The cabinet he wants. The people are going to work with him that he wants. So you know what? If that's what he wants, I support everything. I hope every one of them gets elected. Trump has demonstrated his ability to fire people who aren't producing. So let him go with what he wants. He's had a lot of time to think about what happened last time, and I think he's going to be better. And I got high hopes for what the next 4 years brings. Well, at the end of the day, RFK is going to have to report to Trump about how he's doing. So if Trump isn't happy with the work he's doing, he'll be out. Kaylee was great, yeah. But all of Trump's spokesmen were really good. I like Sarah Huckabee Sanders too. She was a great White House press secretary. Carrie Lake is great. Yeah, I like her. Yeah, I guess he's done it. I know he did one like about the fires a few days ago, or like last week, because I think people were talking about it last week. I don't know. Jordan hasn't been doing a lot of live streams until recently, though, right? That's fine if that's what Trump wants. If he wants a 27-year-old press secretary, I just like his choices for press secretary because he always chooses people that stand up to the media, and that's what you need to do. You got to be tough to the media because they're not going to be fair with you. I guess we chased Rhonda away. She doesn't like the politics. Nope, she's just staying quiet. She's not responding because she's doing la 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 la. Yeah. Well, there's an old saying: sometimes it's better to keep your mouth shut and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. Well, I think that the Republicans are starting to open their eyes a little bit about how unfairly they're treated in the press, and they're not just cowering in fear in front of the press. They're standing up for themselves now. I'm really happy to see that, and I think that started with Donald Trump because he Donald Trump showed people how to do it, and so you see it happening all the time now. If the question's unfair, they're the person saying this is stupid. That's a stupid question. You should feel embarrassed that you are so stupid to ask a question like that. Or they're turning it around on the press and reminding them of the failures of the other side. Well, and I think Newsom sees himself as a future president. Although, I don't know, the last couple of weeks may change that, but you got to have shame to be able to resign in shame. I mean, that's not all Democrats. There's some Democrats that are decent people, but the ones in politics, they're all crazy. Every last one of them. It's not a matter if, it's just a matter of the level of crazy. I know they probably got to keep Flame over 10 feet away from his hair. I mean, have you ever seen Gavin Newsom holding a candle? Now you know why. No way. We don't want him here. Definitely not Darth. Absolutely not. Can you imagine that? A bunch of tents in people's front yards? That's what LA is. You can't even visit Hollywood and go down the Walk of Fame anymore because it's just all these tents of homeless people. I mean, and I know because I've seen it personally. Jordan used to live, just one block off of Hollywood Boulevard, and we walked a lot because it was a lot easier if he needed to go to the grocery store or something like that to just walk there. Yeah, I know, but there's people that think that, to be a good leader, you got to look good. And there's a lot of people that think, oh, well, that's all I need is to look good. And that's that's the issue with Newsom. Looks like the Joker from the original Batman movie. Okay. I don't remember Jordan ever mentioning having a gun pointed at him, but it might have happened. I can't really comment on that, Gene, because I haven't really experienced it because I haven't been in Hollywood in a long time. I mean, I think the last time I was in Hollywood was probably one of the times I was going back for my father, in his final months, and I went and saw Jordan at one point, I think, and that was the last time I was there. And I'm sure that Adam didn't press him either. Thanks, Mark. Thank you for the super chat, and I'm glad you like the live streams. I enjoy doing them too. You think getting on here and talking to my computer for 2 hours, that would get old, but you know what? The time goes by. I enjoy talking to you guys. That's the case with a lot of the media, though, Lindex. Oh yeah, Corolla's a very funny guy. Absolutely. Yeah, well, I mean, that's just another thing that our leaders do to disrespect us. They just ignore us. They don't, that's what they don't care about us. No lunch for me. I don't eat lunch. I haven't figured out what's going on for dinner here. I've had the refrigerator so full for so long because of, things I've cooked, and I've kind of worked my way through all that now. So I got to fill up the fridge again, I think. I don't know. I probably eat way too many eggs. I like, omelets and breakfast burritos and stuff like that. Total disconnect, total disrespect, I think. Tacos sounds good. Stew sounds good too, especially on a warm night or on a cold night like this. I don't eat fast food breakfast, so wouldn't be able to answer that. Dismissive, that's another good word. Um, One of the pans is gone. The other one I put in deep freeze, so I'll pull that out in a few months. The nice thing about those lasagnas is they freeze really well. I'll pull it out and pull it out in 6 months or a year, and it'll be as good as it was when it went in. I tend to stay away from anything McDonald's. The only thing I think the McDonald's does good is its fries. But I have not been to a McDonald's since I've been here. I've been having to eat fast food a little bit for lunch for the last few weeks. It turns out we have an in-house cafeteria at our company, but they're in the process of expanding it, making it larger because it's not big enough for the number of people here. There are times it's just overfilled, and so they're going to expand it. It's going to probably be 3, 4, 5 times the size of it current is. But while that's happening, we don't have a cafeteria on the place, and I'm not one for like bringing my own, lunch or something. I want something hot that I get kind of quick. So having to leave the plant every day for lunch, get something, bring it back. No, it's okay. I liked it better early on when I the when when the place when I first started working there. They the chef would have like a repertoire of like 20 different entrees that he'd make, and he'd make one of them one day, and the next day he'd make some of this, and the next day he'd make some of that, and it'd be something different every day. And yeah, okay, every once in a while you'd come back onto something that you'd like 3 or 4 weeks ago, but there was a lot more variety. But a couple of years ago, he changed it, and it started doing, if it was Monday, it's this, if it's Tuesday, it's this, if it's Wednesday, it's this. So if you're working, Thursdays and Fridays every week, it's the same thing every week, and it just gets old. And there for a while, it was like chicken fried steak on like Wednesday, chicken fried chicken on Thursday, and then like a chicken fried chicken sandwich on Friday. So you're eating all this really heavy, greasy food, and it's like, I can't even do it anymore. So I hope we get a little bit more variety. No, it's going on 6. It'll be 6 in May that I've been here because I'm coming up on March. It'll be my 5th year anniversary at the company. Yeah, well, he's a short order cook. There's a couple of Texas barbecue places that I visited that I could do that I have pretty good. Actually, the best barbecue I've had is in Hellberg's Barbecue, and that's a little bit away. That's about a 10 or 15 minute drive, so I couldn't do that from lunch. But I know I can't believe that in May it'll be 6 years that I've been here. That's insane. And I think it was like in February I posted my first video, so we're coming up on the 6 year anniversary of the vlog. That's even crazier to think about. Because when I first started doing this, I couldn't imagine being going on camera and doing this kind of thing. I didn't like the sound of my voice on recordings and stuff like that, and I didn't feel for a second I'd continue doing it, but I should kind of get a blast out of doing it, and it gets me to get out and look at things and see the exciting things about the new place I live. I mean, I know more about Waco than did about Placentia or Garden Grove, which is where I lived in California. Yeah, I know. Come July, this July, this summer, it's 5 years in this house. Can you believe that? It seems like yesterday. They've been experimenting with bringing in a food truck um, at work, but it's kind of a specialty thing. It's like Asian bowls and stuff like that. So they got like a beef bowl and a chicken bowl and a tofu bowl, and it's all outrageously expensive. It's like $17. It's like I've never been really um, into that kind of thing to begin with. So not gonna, and I don't want to spend $17 on it. Yeah, vlogging did bring me a little out of my shell. You remember, because you guys remember me when I used to be just that guy who followed Jordan around on his vlogs and didn't really say a whole lot, just kind of stood in the background and tried not to look awkward. Well, we used to have food trucks in the backstage area at Disney, and they had a short order cook in there, and they'd make anything for you. There were all sorts of options. Yeah, I had a blast taking care of Jaw, shooting all those funny little videos of him enjoying himself. I love the little scenes where he'd get the zoomies and take off, start running. It was always fun, but always a little scary too, because you realize if that guy took off, I'd never catch him. And I'm really glad I was shooting video when I went into the houses because I never would have bought this house, uh, if I didn't look back on it afterwards and realize, wow, this really is a diamond in the rough. And it wasn't very rough. It turned out to be a great house for me. Yeah, I remember that too, picking up Jordan at the airport one time. Thanks for stopping in, Gene. Have a good church. See you next time. Yes, Jaw is quite the liquor. Absolutely, no question about that. Well, I wasn't a very clear speaker either, so there were a couple of times that he'd have to shoot my scenes twice because I'd screw up my line. But like I said, I think it partly came from being a little uncomfortable being on camera. But now I got 1,050 videos on my under my belt and 200 or 300 live streams or something like that. I'm a little bit more comfortable with it, I think. Yeah, I love this neighborhood. What I really love about it is there aren't any street lights on on this block. So when it's night out, it's dark, and I mean it's like really dark. The neighbors are fine. I don't really get out and talk to the neighbors that much. We say hi to each other when we see each other. That's about the extent of it. The only time I really interact with the neighbors a whole lot is around Halloween because the neighbors are all coming by to see it. And yeah, I love this big main room here. Because that's it's just awesome to have like a big space like that. I'm actually really seriously thinking about getting a pool table, and a pool table would easily fit right there. And I've always loved playing pool. I'd love to have my own table. See, I think it was exactly the opposite because the house I grew up in, there was a street light right across the street from where I lived. The house I lived in California, there was a street light right across the street from where I lived, and it was always shining in my window. And I like it when it's dark at night. Now I got floodlights on the house, and I can light up the house like day if I need to, but I don't do it very often because I like that darkness that comes with night here. I think the nearest street light's a couple blocks over. No, I didn't see the wolf moon, but I guess we got some weird planetary alignment going on. Yeah, well, you gotta deal with that kind of thing when you're dealing with a 40-year-old house, almost a 50-year-old house now. No, there's no sidewalks here for the most part, but that's fine. I walk in the street when when I'm taking my walks at night. Yeah, I guess I can understand that, Rhonda. I've never experienced that, so I don't have that kind of an issue. But yeah, one of the things I didn't like about the house when I moved in was since there aren't many windows in here, the interior lighting was really, really dim. You remember how dim it was, and I replaced all the lighting that you see right now, and it really lights this room up. And I did the same thing outside. They had a couple of like floodlights out in the front yard, but they didn't work very well. And I replaced them with new fixtures and super bright LED lights, and I literally can light up this end of the neighborhood. I wish I had my mom's piano. She didn't have a player piano; it was a regular piano, just an upright piano. She wanted to give it to me when I lived in California, but I didn't have a place for it. I could find a place for it now. It'd be fun to have. She ended up giving it to friends of ours. I played piano. I took piano lessons a little bit when I was a kid. It never really took, and it was never really uh, something that I was that much into. My parents, my dad especially was really musical because there was a lot of music in his family, and he loved to sing, and my his parents loved to sing, and all that. And so I think he tried to push music on me. I wasn't really into it that much. What was it? What kind of? I think it was a Baldwin piano. I don't remember though. And when I stopped playing piano, they insisted I take up another instrument. And I played the clarinet for a while, played the saxophone for a while, but I got over it. It wasn't something I was into. I was never a performer kind of a person, more of a behind the scenes kind of person. I have a couple guitars. I fiddled around with a bass a little bit, but uh, the guitars are just on the wall now, and never really played either of them. They're more for looking at, and the bass, I gave the bass away. Yeah, I think I can do chopsticks too, but that's probably the limit. And I haven't, like I said, I haven't touched a piano, and I can't tell you how long. Well, everybody needs a full set of full drum set. I mean, how can you get along without a drum set? See, a full set of drums would fit here really nice too, wouldn't it? You have a pretty impressive setup there. Piano Concerto number 007. Is that dun 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 dun? No, probably not. See, that would be fun to go see Bond cars. You know, my dad and I always loved the Bond movies. I think I saw one of the Bond cars when we went to a car museum with Jordan, one of his vlogs. He got a double bass drum, double kick drum. That's pretty impressive. You see, like that like in on concerts sometimes when you get a really good drummer. Gotta love the sound of double kick drums. Because that's one thing you don't hear. You don't often hear the kick drum roll like you can hear a drum roll, on the toms or on the snare or something. Is he in a band? Neil Peart fan. Okay. Who's my favorite Bond? I've liked all of them, but I think I'm a Sean Connery fan. Although the first Bond movies I ever saw were Roger Moore, and I always liked Roger Moore. Kind of had a sense of humor that went along with it, and it's like every once in a while he'd like look at the camera and smirk like he got the joke. But Daniel Craig was good. Pierce Brosnan when he was doing it was good. No, I like Ringo as a drummer. Ringo's a great drummer. See, I didn't even hate the one with Timothy Dalton. I knew there was another one I couldn't remember, and that was who it was, Timothy Dalton. But I didn't have a problem with that. And he was only on one, wasn't he? And then they moved on to Pierce Brosnan. Eh, we'll have to agree to disagree on that one. I've never seen Lazenby's Bond movie. That was the original Casino Royale, right? See, I've never been able to find that on DVD. I got to admit, I haven't really looked that hard, but no, who's the Mad Drummer? Was he one of the ex drummers from Spinal Tap? Is he the one that exploded, or the one who choked on vomit? And they don't know if it was his vomit or someone else's vomit. Yeah, that was what made some of the Bond movies. They because they shot all over the world. I like Tommy Chong on drums. Colin should have stayed on the drums. That's right. It was on Her Majesty's Secret Service. That's right. It wasn't Casino Royale. Yeah, like I said, I haven't really looked for it, but Nibble's just doing her thing. She just napping a lot. She's actually been getting up and walking around a little bit, which kind of surprises me a little bit. She'll come out and greet me in the morning. Yeah, I don't have them on Blu-ray, but I have pretty much all of them on DVD. There's probably about a stack of DVDs that thick in my collection. It's just Bond stuff. Yeah, no, I will never see a Jane Bond movie. They've been talking about that for a while, making a James Bond movie with a woman or a black man in the lead. I'm sorry, that's not how it works. His library card as a kid was J007. That's awesome. Well, if it is, I won't. I will not be watching it. I hope she won't. I hope Barbara gets involved. Because Albert would never put up with that. But what happens when she's gone? It's just a matter of time. No, Ian Fleming wouldn't approve either. I agree. Never watched Wicked. It's starting to bug me a little here. Yeah, I know, but that's how you ruin a franchise is by making change like that. I'm not generally into musicals, but every once in a while there's a few of them that are funny. I like the David Geffen version of Little Shop of Horrors. That's a musical. That's a great movie. I like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's a great movie. Great musical. I haven't seen Barbie the first time. I don't think I don't think of Blazing Saddles as a musical. I mean, yeah, I guess there's like one or two musical numbers in there, but it's a great movie. That's a really specific number, Rhonda. Are you like keeping track of this? I think the only movie I ever saw that many times is Rocky Horror. Yeah, I enjoyed doing it. There was this uh, funky old movie theater down in Balboa Island in kind of Newport Beach area, kind of an upscale part of the coastline there. And they would show Rocky Horror every Friday and Saturday night at midnight. And we basically just trashed that theater. I mean, I can't imagine how much money they had to spend cleaning that place up at the end of the night. But then, they packed that place every night. So I never dressed up, but I brought all the props. I'd have the newspaper and the rice and the squirt guns and the toilet paper. And I knew all the lines. Meatloaf again? I've got Titanic, but I think I've only watched it once or twice. I mean, you know how it ends. So if you're not really into the romantic story of the whole thing, it's just like, okay, been there, done that. Yeah, Grease was a good movie. That was a good musical. It was really the first place I was aware of Meatloaf. I've still got the movie on DVD. Don't watch it that much though, because it's not as much fun to watch when you're not in the theater with people acting out and doing all the craziness in the theater. It's just a movie then. Oh, that'd be cool to see Rocky Horror in a place like that. Yeah, I love doing the time warp. Yeah, great Scott. There was a point I'd seen that movie so many times I could quote the movie from the beginning to the end, including all the songs. And I always loved the fact that the narrator of the movie was the guy who played Blofeld on the James Bond movies. So I never saw Beaches either. Yeah, I went to a Rocky Horror event with Scott Michaels once. I wasn't aware he was a big fan of that, but I guess he is. That was when he still had his little museum in Hollywood. Yeah, Scott's been. I've been with Scott a couple times because there was one time that Jordan did like a get together, a meetup, um, and we went to went out and did the little road trip that Scott did in his van, and Jordan and Scott were like talking about all the places they were visiting, and we went to that house, a couple houses down from the Manson murder house. Checked out, yeah, Dearly Departed, right? And then there was a time, I think it was just a few weeks later, where we did the Rocky Horror event, and that was at the in the museum there. That place was a trip. Well, yeah, I don't. I think Scott's still doing his vlogs, and he's got a pretty good survivor subscriber base, so he might be supporting himself doing that kind of thing. Kind of the way Jordan is. He does do private tours. Okay. Well, Jordan did a vlog on Blue Velvet filming locations when he was in Baltimore, I think. Was that in Baltimore, or was that because David Lynch was out of Montana? So maybe it was in Montana. But yeah, all the places where from that movie, that was a great one. I couldn't wait to see that one. And yeah, he may do a David Lynch one because I think he appreciated David Lynch. He has a friend who is kind of a low budget or kind of a up and coming. I'm not going to say low budget, an up and coming film director, or was at least for a while. That was a huge David Lynch fan and huge Twin Peaks fan. So, I'm sure, and being the fact that I was also, that affected Jordan on some level. See, I don't really watch anyone else's vlogs. I know that the Scott's doing stuff, but like I said, I don't think I've ever seen one of his vlogs. Don't eat a lot of donuts and have never been a coffee drinker. Probably threw stuff at him because he didn't have a pride flag on the hearse. Well, and see, that's kind of sort of his niche too, is talking about, famous deaths. I like donuts. I just don't buy them that much. Check you out later, Nancy. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, we're getting to the point we're going to wind this one down here. Yeah, I've wondered that too. What became of the collection? If he sold it off, or if he still has it? I mean, I think part of the problem was that it's just so expensive to do business in Hollywood. I bet you, he could set up shop in some other location and do all right. The combination of that and the and the vlogging he does, I think those two could work together. Must be a pretty big place that he's storing it because, like I said, having been in that museum, it was just kind of a small little building, but it was packed to the gills. That was part of it too. I think he had parking spaces like for maybe 7 or 8 cars. But then again, I don't think it was ever a huge attraction. It wasn't like he had 50 or 60 people in there at any time. Well, that's it. I think if he found, some other place, maybe go to some city somewhere and set it up again, just some small one. I don't know. Maybe his clogs are cool too. I haven't really followed Scott that much. I don't know where he lives. I assume he left California. Vern, isn't that Ernest's friend? Know what I mean? I like Palm Springs. He's still in California? Okay, I didn't know. Yeah, I have. Oh, that's okay. That's where he lives. Oh, he lives in Palm Springs. Palm Springs might be a cool place to set that up if that's where he lives. So I kept seeing people say Palm Springs, but I didn't make the connection between that and Scott. And I don't know. You never know. Darth Saber just every once in a while just says something out of the blue. Or maybe Psalm Prings, that might work too. Well, the problem is Palm Springs is still California, but problem is they don't have the forest management problems in Palm Springs, so you don't uh, get the same fire issues. Yeah, bye, Rhonda. I'll see you next time. Hopefully, you can show up again on the next one. I like it when it's here. It's easier for me. You carry most of the conversation. Well, it is a desert, but there's a lot of places to, a lot of swimming pools in Palm Springs. That Robo Lights thing was there for a while. That's right. It's a dry heat. No, but I'm ready for this cold streak that we're going to hit this week. We might get some snow on Tuesday. Hope so. If I do, if it does, we'll do some get some video of it. I was looking this morning outside, and the bird bath was frozen. That's what the cover photo is the frozen bird bath. That's how cold it is here. Anyway, I think I put in my time for today, so I'm going to pull the plug on this one. We'll pick this up again next week. Thanks everyone for stopping in. I had a good time today. See you next time. Good night.